today we're going to be talking about the making of our latest film, Case Closed. We're going to go through the ups and downs of filming, show you how we achieved some of the effects, and we're going to show you some behind-the-scenes footage and some outtakes that didn't quite make it. All right, guys, so let's get into it. Where did this idea come from? Like, how did we come up with Case Closed?
So honestly, the idea for Case Closed came up about 5-6 years ago. I think we started off doing some sketch comedy, and the relationship that Mitch and Brandon had on camera, they would always just be funny and laughing. So I was like, what's a role that these two can really, shine together on? And for some reason, I just thought it'd be hilarious if they played detectives, and they were just not even detectives, private investigators, and they were just always drunk, and they would get these petty crimes, and they would be too drunk to solve them. So we came up with the first season. And we kind of shot it in I call it like a running gun style, kind of like a film crew following you guys on set as you were, solving these, these crimes.
The Office,
yeah, kind of like The Office, or almost like I thought of it as almost like a reality show. You had your confessionals to the camera where you would kind of talk about the case and what was going on, and that way you kind of get more of a insight to these characters and what they were kind of thinking. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of where that kind of started, or the birth of Case Closed, and then we did the 4 episodes of that, kind of call it like a season 1, but then we decided to turn it into a short film, and that's what we have today.
So yeah, Brandon, you wrote this new one, so kind of what was your inspiration? How did you take that first season and turn it into more of a movie?
Yeah, like Machado said, we started this season 1 just kind of goofing around, 2 private investigators solving petty crimes, and then I thought that our feedback from the first season was really good, so try to continue that chemistry that me and Mitch have. I think this was, out of all the things that we've done, I think through the improv and the writing through Case Closed season 1, I think the humor was really there, but I thought that, if we revisit this, I think we can add a little higher production value and add some a real script behind it instead of improvising most of it. I saw a lot of potential in it, so I kind of just came up with a continuation of the first season, and it was roles were reversed. The first season, my character was really RoboCop, super serious, all about the job, and then Mitch was kind of there for the check, there for the good time, and the continuation of the second season, which turned into the short film, was my character burnt out, and Mitch kind of getting into his groove. So I think it was just a funny way of continuing the first one.
Yeah, I feel like the first one, like you said, it had so much potential, and it definitely needed more of a spotlight to it.
Yeah.
Because you guys just killed those characters.
Yeah.
So, not that we didn't do it justice for the first season, but it was like you said, we did 4 episodes. And there was just so much more that we could have dived into to really shine a light on the relationship between the 2 private investigators.
Yeah, you had to start somewhere, and I think that was a great foundation for it to turn into a film.
Yeah.
I don't think we would have established a film in the beginning without having the beginning.
And honestly, the whole first season was improvised.
Yeah.
Right? We had maybe a set of lines or a direction that we wanted each case to go to or episodes to go to.
Yeah, and it came down to 2 characters. One guy super serious and one guy that was a drunk, and we would know who the drunk was going to be.
Yeah.
Well, it was mostly, I remember, when I would look at the script, it was just situations. And Chris would just be like, yeah, guys, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
A lot of the times I would roll the camera, and then we would just off the riff and see whatever happened.
We had a lot of good material. I remember we had one scene that was like a 4-minute shot. We were
continuous.
We were in the car.
Yeah.
It was a continuous 4-minute shot. And we had to literally, it was us driving in the car, you filming in the back seat with Chris. And I remember we had to do it a couple times, and we'd get 3.5 minutes into it and be like, shit, we got to go back and do it again.
Yeah.
But it came out great, and I think it was a good base, and I don't know, I think it helped us with our acting abilities and stuff.
Oh, for sure.
Just being able to improv, maybe if we couldn't do it as well before, we had a whole film when we got to do it. And I think that helped us out a lot. So if we ever have to, if we not misinterpret, but kind of forget a line, we can improv and make it work.
Yep.
And I feel like Case Closed season 1 definitely helped me with that.
Yeah, I think that having that improv really kind of helped you guys form those characters.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, you guys were responsible for coming up with who they were, because we had an idea of who you wanted them to be, but since you guys had so much open reign, you guys just went crazy with it. And yeah, we saw that chemistry and we just had to keep it going because that was that was too good. And the first one was entirely improv, but we also improv'd a little bit on this one too. We had a script, but you guys still went off of it a little here and there. So you guys want to like elaborate on that at all? Like, how did you, if you're in the scene, how do you take what's on the paper and like, do you have your own vision of what this character would say, or like, a direction that you wanted to take it?
Yeah, I think a lot of the, you write a script and then we didn't get a chance to do a lot of read-throughs. I live in New York now, you guys are in Rhode Island, so we didn't get to do a lot of rehearsals. So when you're writing this, I think, like personally, when I was writing it, you think these jokes are super funny, and then you say them out loud, and you're like, okay, this didn't flow right. Maybe this word should be changed, or maybe this whole line should be changed. And I think a lot of situations, one particular situation was the exterior of the Black Duck when my character gets kidnapped, and one of the actors, Glenn, I can't remember Glenn's last name.
Like Robert, I think.
Glenn Robert, yes.
Robert, yeah.
Sorry, Glenn.
Robert.
Glenn did an amazing job.
He killed it.
Yeah, so he would read his lines. He's a professional actor, so he's kind of reading his lines and he's saying, okay, this maybe could flow differently. So he kind of would make up a line but still stay to the foundation of the script.
Exactly.
And I think that's when the best lines come out. I think when we're sitting down in an editing room, it's like, wow, that gets the point across for the scene that we're trying to go towards, but this line was a lot better than the actual script, so let's keep this because it's funnier.
Yeah. I think that's the good formula right there, is to have get that first take of the script and then just kind of freeform it from there, because we all know where it's trying to go. And that's when I feel like the magic happens.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
Yeah, everyone brings their own personality to certain lines and a character. Someone might say, you might think, I don't know if you had a person in mind when you wrote the role for that driver.
Absolutely, and just like when I was writing the character for the driver outside of the exterior for the Black Duck, Glenn's character was inspired by Michael Douglas in Falling Down, this lunatic guy that's just off the wires but kind of looks like he has it together. But when you see him act out, just you don't expect that from him. In the scene, he's listening to Britney Spears, but he also has his Glock 19 on his lap.
Yeah, completely different contrast.
Yeah, so
Glenn played that role perfectly.
for sure. And I think when we got to
Glenn's
set,
really
we
good.
talked about the character and the lines, and we were both on the same page. He was exactly inspired by the same guy I thought of when I was writing it. So I think that's why that scene is personally my favorite. But we'll get to that.
No, I think you picked the perfect guy to play that role.
Yeah, he's really good.
He was really good, and it was cool working with him, because a lot of times, a lot of the films we make, it's mostly me and you, and it's not a professional actor like that. So getting to work with him was really cool for me.
Yeah,
Getting to do that scene.
I'm
with
a
him.
professional actor. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I'm just saying, me and you always work together. It's nice working with somebody outside of our bubble, working with a new person. Danny's always great.
Danny,
We've worked with him before.
Yeah.
It was just cool having a fresh face, just working with a new person.
for sure.
Yeah.
It almost made it feel all together more professional,
Yeah.
and it was cool. And he was great.
Did he ever make you guys almost lose it during a take? You were the only one acting with him, but I know.
How were
Brandon
those
was
scenes with
kinda-
Dan?
With Dan?
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's crazy. But he's so good. He's so professional, and just some of the things he would say, I would do my best not to break,
Yeah.
because he would just get so into it, and some of the things that would come out of his mouth were so hysterical.
Yeah.
And just being there in front of him and not wanting to ruin the take, but you're thinking about it in the back of your head, and you're also thinking about your lines. But yeah, Dan's another one. Dan's always good. He's always great to work with. He's just.
You've seen the film. Was one of the takes that didn't get put in the film at the boat scene? Which one was your favorite?
Put me on the spot with that one, where he tells me, in the movie, I date his sister, and we break up, and he says she's sick of waking up, getting punched in the face every day.
You go to that one.
Which one did you expect me to
Kissing
pick?
you.
Oh.
I think we all had a moment on set where we almost ruined a take because we just lost it. We're gonna
I
burst
ruined
out
tons
into
of
laughing.
takes.
The scene between me and Glenn.
You were getting mad at me.
Yeah, I remember there were a few times where I was carefully listening to audio, and it was 2:00 in the morning. We were filming outside Black Duck, and the scene was an intense scene between Mitch and Glenn, where Glenn, is gonna put the gun in his face, and you're over here on the side of the car just geeking.
Yeah.
And I can hear it in my headphones, and I'm
Giggling.
like, I can hear Brandon laughing. And I'm like, guys, we gotta do that take again. I can hear Brandon laughing.
Yeah, I couldn't keep it together, man.
That'd be like back away from the set for a little bit.
Yeah, I think I had to walk away.
We're like, Brandon, get out of here. Let's finish it.
I couldn't. I don't even know. I mean, you were in total like.
I was in the
character mode.
zone, yeah.
Like I didn't know how you kept it. I was just picturing what you were, because I was behind Glenn in some of the shots when he was talking to you, and I'm visualizing what you're looking at, because all I see is the back of his head giving these lines, and I'm just like, what does this even look like?
I know.
It sounds crazy, but what's it look like?
Yeah,
You did good, man.
he
You
was
kept it
great.
together.
Like when we filmed with Danny first, I think it was harder for me to keep my composure because that was like the first shot of the day.
Yeah.
But when we filmed with Glenn, it was 1:30 in the morning. We had already been filming all day long. Like I was just in the zone.
I think that was on day 3 too.
Yeah.
So we had already had some days.
We filmed
under
in the
our
Black
belt.
Duck in the morning, and then when they opened, we filmed again at night.
Yeah.
Like later on.
Yeah, so let's go over that a little. Like this was kind of different in a way that I don't think we've ever really done a short film in like a week straight like that. Like we were filming every day for long days,
Yeah.
and we had some really long nights. So
7 days it took us.
let's, like for the warehouse, for instance, we were there from like 10 in the morning till like 2 in the morning
Yeah.
the next day.
Yeah, that was a 17-hour shoot. I think that was the longest
Yeah, that was a
any
long
of
one.
us have ever been on a set.
Yeah.
I think it's illegal to be on a set that long. So we shouldn't. I don't know if we should shit. There's no union workers on it, but like, yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, no, everyone agreed to be there.
Yeah,
for
we
that
all
amount of
signed
hours.
paperwork.
Yeah. And then we just not only did that, but then the next morning we got up at like 5 in the morning and drove an hour.
We got up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even sleep. We didn't.
Oh, get
He
up.
got out. He
I think
slept a
I think I
little.
might have tried to sleep for like a half hour that night.
I think I slept for like 25 minutes, and then I woke up, and you guys were freaking out my house when I walked down, and then we just went right to Westerly, right?
What
No,
do?
40
We drove like
45
about
minute
45 minutes, 50
Yeah.
minutes to
Was
Westerly.
it? Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Westerly.
Mitch was like passed out in the car.
Sleep in the parking lot.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Which I got footage of, so hopefully this is a cutscene of him sleeping.
1-8800 or visit SiriusXM.com/app to find out more. Thank you for listening to SiriusXM Radio. If you experience any issues with your channel,
Yeah, that was crazy, man.
17-hour day.
Yeah, but luckily that was the last day of filming, because I think if that was in the middle of the week, that would have like messed us up for the rest
Yeah,
of the
I think someone would have been like, all right, I can't. I need at least a 2-day break or something, because that was just intense.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. The last sequence of that last day was shooting the warehouse, which is the last scene of the movie, and the last shot of the day was shooting the first scene of the
First
movie.
scene, yeah.
It's like those two came together. It was pretty cool. But
Yeah.
grueling. But.
That's kind of how they do it on big budget movie sets, where sometimes the first thing you shoot is the last thing, and
For sure.
the last thing you shoot is the first thing.
Yeah.
It all depends on scheduling and when you can get your actors and your locations together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of like that just comes with the territory of filming with like no budget and hardly any crew members. Is we had so much to set up in the warehouse that it took us hours just to get the windows blocked off and the lighting right, and
Yeah.
we
Dude,
had
touch on that a little bit. The setup for that, like the whole the projectile, all that crazy stuff. Like, how the hell did we even get that together?
Yeah, that was pretty fun because that was the first time we've ever really worked with like practical effects like that. So we had come up with the idea of using an air compressor as like a budget squib. We'd run it up the shirt, fill it with fake blood, and then just like, press the air compressor to make the blood spray out. And we did the same thing with the throw up with a little bit of a bigger hose. And like I think you guys,
And a lot of throw up.
a lot of throw up. You were making that for a while with like those
Yeah.
Maria
The
cookies.
Maria
and
cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Crushing
we had a
them up.
whole bucket of fake.
That tasted really good.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was kind of crazy too, because then we had to make sure that got right. We only had one take because we didn't want to
Yeah.
like clean up the floor in between
Exactly,
every
yeah.
take.
There was a lot of prep for that too, because we had a couple of complications where it just wasn't that the pressure wasn't right,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
it wasn't projecting.
We just didn't have, I don't think we had enough throw up in it. We were just like loaded up. And
Yeah.
it came out awesome.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, because me and Machado, we tested out the whole squib thing, but we did it in my backyard with like water, so the consistency was just so much different. When we had fake throw up in there, we didn't know how it was gonna react. So it was actually like our first time doing it,
Yeah.
which we should have like prepped for a little bit. But hey, like that's again the way it goes when you're filming short films. You're
Yeah.
just doing everything on the fly, just trying to get it across. But I think it ended up working out. I had to do a little bit of finessing in post. Some of the throw up was coming out of like the top of Brandon's head and stuff. I had to kind of mask that out. But I mean, all in all, I think it came out really funny, and people were blown away by how it looks. And the fact that we did mix the practical with the After Effects just helped sell it so much more. Because it was in the moment. You had the throw up on you. It was all over the floor.
Yeah.
You were reacting to the actual throw up. So I think that was.
Yeah,
turned out pretty
it looks
well.
perfect in post.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. Not even being able to, from my point of view, being like, how is he gonna put this together? And then, you know, because when you were saying the pressure of the throw up was like everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then how you cut it down, like it came out. I think that's a really nice, you know, you're showing everybody how you kind of got that done.
Yeah. A lot of hours in post production.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
blood came out really well too when we like blew it all over Brandon's face.
Yeah.
Like having it shoot from the sides, like.
I was
that's
a mess that day.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And then go right to the, that was, what
So
a
you're
day.
covered in fake puke, fake blood, and then we had to film for what, 7 more hours?
Yeah.
And we're using a warehouse where we're trying to like not stain the floor. We don't even know if that blood's gonna stain.
I
So
know,
like,
thank God it
Luckily
Did
did.
you
it
hear anything?
didn't. Huh?
It didn't stain?
No, I went back to work a couple of days later, and I kind of just mopped it up a little bit, and it was fine.
Talk about how we even got that location. How did we get
Yeah,
such
so
like that?
I mean, this is kind of our first production where we secured some like major locations.
Yeah, definitely.
So we shot in a warehouse that was just it's a warehouse you would see in these movies. You know, it just fit that vibe of a kidnapping and, you know, holding these people hostage. And the look of it was just really dark and really kind of just, I guess, mysterious. And, you know, you just have this big empty warehouse. But
Massive.
yeah, the warehouse was located in a shipyard that the company that I work for happens to own, and they were nice enough to allow me and us to film there. Of course, you know, we had to sign some, you know, legal stuff to, you know, just make sure if anyone got hurt, you know, which is, you know, usual, typical thing on a shoot. You know, you gotta cover your behinds. And
Yeah. Talk about how you blackmailed your boss to get it.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so this was one of our first times, you know, on a production where we secured some real legit locations. You know, we're used to just filming with what we have, you know, in someone's backyard, someone's house, at a park, something public. But like I said, this is the first time where we actually had some connections, where we networked into some really nice locations. You know, we had a marina that we shot at, which Brandon, you helped us out with that. I helped us get the warehouse. Mitch, you helped us with the Black Duck. Elaborate on that.
So the Black Duck Tavern is a tavern in our hometown, and I go in there a good amount. I know a lot of the people that work there, and the owner actually went to school for film. So he was like, if you guys want to shoot, just let me know any day, no problem. And they were super cool about it. Some of the people that worked there even helped out and did some extra work. Like, they really helped us out a lot with that, and that was cool.
oh yeah, they opened it up really early for
Yeah.
us. We were there for
Yeah.
like a few hours before they were open. So
Yeah,
that
because
was really
nobody's there till 2 o'clock, and when were we in, 9 o'clock?
nice. Like 9 or
9,
10
10.
o'clock, something like that. So we had a good amount of time of having it closed, and that's crucial when you're filming, because you can't have a bunch of like random people in there. They're gonna
Exactly.
be coming and going, ruining continuity between takes,
Yeah.
or just talking and ruining the dialogue. We can't ask somebody to be quiet if they're there at a restaurant trying to just
Yeah,
enjoy
Exactly,
paying
themselves.
customers.
So having that, being able to like block that off was huge, and I think that's one of the biggest factors in making like a low budget film look good is the locations. Like you
Definitely.
can, you know, that just sells it so much more. Like that warehouse, the Black Duck, the
Yeah.
marina.
Yeah,
it's
I
just
mean,
step
even
it
some
up,
of those
yeah.
locations we had to shoot at those times, like you touched on, like 9 a.m. at a bar, but we're making it seem like a night scene. Or when we were in the warehouse, that was during the day for most of that shoot. You guys
Yeah.
want to talk about like lighting or anything that we had to use to like kind of show that effect of it being like a night shoot?
Yeah, I mean, most of it was just kind of like blacking out windows to not let the sunlight in, because the bar was pretty easy. We just kind of recreated what the bar lighting would look like at night, kind of motivating the light from where the actual like practical lights were in the location. But the warehouse was a little more tricky because there was like big garage doors with like huge massive windows, and we had to block off a lot of them. That took quite a bit of time. But luckily enough, the location had these huge black tarps there already that
Yeah,
helped
I
us
lucked
out
out.
a lot. And that's something we realized when we went to scout it, which is hugely important, like scouting out the locations ahead of time and seeing what you can do.
Yeah. One time when we were shooting at the warehouse, where I think we were in the middle of a take, and all of a sudden we just hear this loud noise, and we just kind of like
Yeah.
turn around, and one of the garage doors is opening up, because the lot, or the warehouse that we were using, they use that to store a lot of their trucks, because they're an auto company, so they they deliver cars to a lot of the dealerships. That lot holds all the cars. So I remember one time in the middle of it, we all just kind of like broke our necks and was like, "Oh, what the hell's that?"
Yeah,
And it
no.
ruined a couple of good takes, I'm sure.
Well, he stayed outside, didn't he?
The truck.
Didn't he end up putting the truck
Yeah, we
somewhere
asked
else
him
for us?
nicely to if he could just wait a little bit or wait till the next day to bring the truck.
There's
back
actually a
in.
few times that happened, I think, that day.
Yeah,
A few different
we
situations.
lucked out a lot on this shoot. A lot of good hospitality with people. A lot of these
Everybody's cool, yeah.
locations we would have had to pay an arm and a leg for. You would think the Black Duck on a regular shoot or something else, someone who doesn't know.
Oh yeah, we literally got all these locations.
Yeah, for free.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would have had to buy out the place for the whole day to shoot that scene.
That's why a lot of these filmmakers or people that are trying to make a film get discouraged by, how am I going to get this? How do I write this scene? Or how do I even start a scene knowing if I can even get this location or not? I think the more questions you ask, the more answers you'll receive, obviously, and you'll be surprised on how many people say yes.
Yeah, you should never be afraid to ask somebody something. What's the
Yeah.
worst they can do? Say no.
Yeah.
You should move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Utilize what you have around you. I know like there's situations where I'm holding a light, or we get someone that hasn't acted before, but we got them to be an extra, or kind of help us out in some way, some form.
Yeah.
And I think you can't be discouraged by that because you have more resources than I think you do.
Yeah, and even that was part of like why we were at the warehouse for so long. We had like 5 or 6 other people that were supposed to show up that didn't end up showing up, but you just got to work with what you have. So we just took it in stride and went with it, and luckily we had a few people show up that did. They were a big help. Actually,
they stayed a lot longer than they said they were going.
A lot longer.
Wanted to.
And even back to that whole improv question, I think a lot of things you have to adapt to. What you're saying, some people cancel, some kind of locations don't open up at the time you need, so you have to kind of like you might have a storyboard for a scene, or I might have a scene written out, but if things don't work out that day of the shoot, you have to change things up. You can't be stubborn and say, okay, this isn't working out, this scene is a fail. I think you got to just work with it and make all that stuff happen, because I think a lot of the times we've had that happen, but when you see the final product, you don't know. You think this might have been all scripted, this is all storyboarded, everything was perfect, but it actually wasn't.
Yeah. And that's the name of the game when you're not working with the union. You're not. We don't have the budget to pay people, so we're relying on people to just volunteer and show up, and that's taking time out of their lives, their free time. So, if they're not trying to be in the film industry, then I kind of understand like they might flake out on us. But just like Brandon said, being flexible, having backup plans, like not being so tied to the script where like if something happens, this whole day is ruined. No, all you can do is go forward. So keep going and.
Trucking.
Keep trucking.
I think adaptability is probably one of the most important skill sets you can have on a production
For
shoot.
sure.
You just have to be ready if something goes wrong. You have to, think quick, think on your feet. What's the next thing that we can do to, quickly resolve this and just move on? Because sometimes you only have a limited amount of time for these locations.
Yeah, and we've been at this. I mean, we've built that chemistry amongst all of us, let alone me and Mitch on camera. All the stuff behind the scenes, we've been able to adapt because we've seen. I don't think there's a situation we haven't seen yet when it comes to this level of budget or this level of production. It's more of like, something arises and we're kind of like, okay, let's work with this. Let's have fun with it. I feel like a lot of the behind the scenes stuff or bloopers you'll see. It's a lot of fun. Everything. It's always light.
Oh yeah, the vibe on set was always a good laugh.
Yeah. So like, as a advice to like filmmakers or actors that are starting out to make their first film, don't be discouraged by little speed bumps. Like it's all bumps in the road per se. It's like enjoy that moment.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we're all doing what we love.
Yeah.
And we're having fun with it, especially with all of our friends.
Yeah, and have that team player mentality too. Like Jake, the guy that was one of the kidnappers in the warehouse scene, he showed up just to be a crew member, and we ended up throwing him in the film as a pretty big role. He got shot in the head, and
Because one of the actors didn't show. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Someone didn't show up.
Yeah,
So
he saved the day.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like back to like Brandon holding lights, or me and Machado doing multiple roles at the same time.
There were a few times where you were doing probably 3 roles at once.
Yeah, I mean, I'm used to that by now. Working at this level of budget, like sometimes I have a camera on the tripod and I'm also like holding the sound and doing the clapboard before the take and all of that stuff. So you just got to be ready to be a team player, and everyone's just putting in input for the final product. That's all that matters. So it's like it's not about you. It's about what you're trying to make.
Yeah, exactly.
We touched a little bit on chemistry. Let's go back to that. You guys absolutely killed it. The chemistry between you guys on this shoot
Yeah, appreciate it.
was really good.
Yeah, it's been years of working together. I mean,
8?
At least.
Yeah.
When did you guys make Fly Hard? That was when I first.
It's been 6-7 years.
6 or
I
7
think.
years. And I didn't act in it. I just came to like help out. But then immediately, like me and you, like formed a chemistry, and we were like, we got to make something else.
Yeah.
And then we went on to make Phase 1 and The Runner, and then just every time after that, we just kept making short films, and we just always bounced off of each other really well. And I mean, even the chemistry behind the camera, like with everybody meshes together very well. So I mean, it never ever feels like a job. It's so much fun, especially working with you guys. It's just it's great. I love it.
I mean, those 17-hour film days, I'd rather have that than an 8-hour day in the office
Exactly.
where you're, like, just bored all day watching the clock. Like, we're doing what we love, and like I'll work as hard as we need to for it, and it shows. We have a really good product to, at the end. So
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, how about let's talk about why we all have Narragansetts on the table, huh?
Yeah, so
What is
touch,
this
touching,
guy? It's this guy.
touching back on earlier about how it never hurts to just ask, and we knew there had to be some type of alcohol involved because Mitch's character is just a major drunk.
Degenerate.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I reached out to Narragansett and I said, hey, we're just some local filmmakers. We want to be able to use an actual prop in the film and showcase, their brand. They're from Rhode Island. We're from Rhode Island. So all I did was reach out and I said, hey, what's it going to take to just, be able to just throw your product in there? And they were nice enough. They said, hey, just we'll allow you to use it.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Shout out Narragansett.
Thank you guys. Hi, neighbor.
It all just goes back to, again, just don't be afraid to ask. You'll be surprised at like what you can accomplish.
Yeah,
if
you
just
never know.
Do some trades too. You're in the video industry. Say, hey, we'll make you a commercial if you let us use your location.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes. Like, you'll be surprised at what you can do with no money.
I know.
And I almost enjoy like working with that more because it makes you more creative. I mean, of course, I wish we had a budget to work with, but
Yeah.
like working on such a low budget does make you more creative, and you come up with solutions that you might not have if you had all the answers and equipment and talent, like crew.
Did you add in all that stuff of like if someone invested or if you're paying people to be on set, everything needs to be done such in a structured way. If we rented more equipment, we have to get this back in time, so we might have to rush this shoot, or it's like you're limited with time. I think with this, us filming at this level gives us an endless amount of time for us to like really like sit there and like knock a scene out without having the pressure of a deadline.
Yeah.
I think in the end too, we're all a little bit more proud of this, production because of look at what we made with, just a little bit of a budget.
Yeah.
Practically this film was made with zero budget.
Yeah, I get that asked a lot after a lot of our films are done and put out. I think a lot of people say, how much did this cost? And I'm like, I think how much I made that week at work.
Yeah, pocket money, like a couple of
Yeah.
spending money.
We bought a couple of props here and there.
How much
Yeah.
lunch do we have to buy is what it comes
Yeah,
down
like,
to, really.
What do you
Yeah.
mean?
Besides that,
Yeah.
I mean,
And they're kind of in shock, like, wow, because I think you just have this idea of what a film costs, or you see something and you think, wow, must have been a lot of money behind that. I think that's like the wrong perception you're gonna have, because then already you're being kind of, what's the word?
Like limiting yourself.
You're already kind of you're already defeated by questioning. You're asking the wrong questions.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Yeah, it shouldn't be like how can we get more money? It should just be like, what other solutions can we come up with that'll accomplish
Discouraged, that's the word I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Discouraged.
Discouraged, yeah.
Asking how much was that? How much was this? It's
Yeah.
like, okay, you already have the wrong ideas in mind. I think you can put anything together if you just utilize what you have around you.
Yeah, and,
Definitely.
and obviously, like there's a limit, and you'll learn that limit. But like, it's you just learn from your mistakes. And
Yeah,
like,
we're not gonna write an Interstellar movie.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you can try, and it might not come out great, but like, hey, you learn something from that
Yeah.
experience, and
It's always good to test yourself too.
yeah, exactly. You'll be surprised at like, what you can do. It's usually more than you think.
yeah, this movie was definitely a test. I mean, probably the biggest test we've had so far. Just everything we had to do, like locations and like special effects and stuff. Like we've never done any of that.
Dragging a dinghy out and
Dragging a dinghy.
Yeah,
so
let's
that
talk about
was
that. So the
crazy.
first day,
Oh God.
I think the first day of shooting, the first scene of shooting, was
Yeah.
one of the most,
That was
I think one of the
day
most tiring for us, physically at least, because we had to lug this. I don't even know how much it weighed,
6 tons.
Dinghies look light. They're not.
No, but the dinghy looked like it was just some inflatable, raft, but really that thing weighed a lot.
Yeah,
And the motor
the
stuck
engine
on it
was a
too.
lot, yeah.
Weighed a
Couldn't
lot
get the
more.
engine off.
We had to lug that thing into I think it took 6 of us to lift it up.
I
in a
literally
truck.
I ripped my back out. I swear I was in so much pain for months after that.
Yeah, that was a lot of work. To
And
do
even
that.
shooting that scene out in the water, like you have this idea of that dinghy is out in the ocean, and then it was just like us pushing it out a little bit from shore,
50
and then
yards
throwing
offshore.
this drone right above it. So kind of like that was really cool.
Yeah, we had to me and Mitch had to row it with oars out, and of course the tide's coming in, so
Yeah.
Push it against you.
we're shooting a take, and then by the time we're done, we're already drifted back into shore, so we have to
And we
paddle
have to go back out. Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy, but I mean, hey, it's that type of stuff that really makes this something special.
Oh, for sure, man. It was beautiful. We're on the beach we're in the summer at the beach with a dinghy, film crew,
No
pizza,
sunblock.
a guy that can't drive his car, some old guy that walks by with
So
his dog.
yes, speaking of that, let's talk about some of the things that we kind of encountered
Some
with
poisoning.
with having no budget. Some of these locations were public, and we don't have the money to block off a street. At Crescent Park, you have that side street that leads down to the beach. Typically you would have blocked off that whole street so you wouldn't have any interruptions.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't have the money to do that. So we've had that a few times where someone walks in the middle of a take, or you have people that are just pulled over to the side and asking,
Yeah,
"What are
just
you guys
watching
doing?"
us, yeah.
Well, we're filming a movie.
I actually thought that was pretty cool, like having people pull up and watch.
Yeah.
That
You
was
look
kinda
like we know what
wild.
we're doing. You guys are gonna be able to tell by the movie
I
you
know.
watch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. You'll be impressed.
Yeah.
It's always a little more sketchy when you're working with guns too.
Yeah.
You're just
Right out in the open, next to a park in the middle of the day, and I'm pointing a gun at a car.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess hopefully at least all the equipment will kind of give away what we're doing.
Yeah.
We have cameras and microphones, so.
They're filming a murder.
So yeah, that was the first day was at the marina. Second day was at the Black Duck. This was probably our longest shoot, right? This took us 7 days. I don't think we've ever had a production that took longer than that.
I mean, we've done some that were spread out
Spread
over
out.
longer periods of time, but yeah, just we've never done a week straight like that.
Who's
back
scheduling
to back
these
to back
things?
to back.
Well, you were you're in New York now, so we had to take advantage of when you were up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fucking
you
squid.
came down and you said, "Listen, I got
I'm here for 4 days. We gotta film this.
I got
in
1
4
week
days.
to film all this." And we were like, "Are you sure you want to fit all this into just 7 days?"
Yeah.
But we did it. We
did it.
banged it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
That's kind of another advantage of working with a low budget too, is you have a lot less to move around in between takes. We don't have these gigantic camera setups, and we're not trying to coordinate 50 people to do something. So it allows you to be a little more quick and kind of guerrilla filmmake it in a way. So I think that kind of allowed us to get it done in that period of time. I think if we had a huge production going on, I don't know if it would have happened, or we would have been pulling 17-hour days that whole week.
Yeah.
No, it's nuts. It's illegal.
Yeah. So this production had so many standout scenes that we kind of put together. What were some of your favorites, Brandon?
I mean, you guys all know my favorite scene just by being on set. It didn't even have to be edited yet, and it was already my favorite scene. It was the exterior to Black Duck when my character gets kidnapped and Mitch runs to the car and tries to hijack this guy's car, Glenn's car. I just thought the chemistry between them two. I think it might have been the first time you guys acted
Yeah.
together.
I'd never met him before. That was my
Yeah,
first
the first
time
time you
meeting
met
him.
And dude, it was right away, because the character Glenn had in mind was kind of inspired by the character I started to write for his character.
Yeah.
And Mitch just kind of, and I was directing that scene. I think that might have been the first scene I've ever directed. Cool.
Yeah, that's another thing that was different with this production. Was Brandon finally had a chance to be behind the scenes and direct it, because Brandon's written pretty much every film we've done, but it's always been just me behind the camera, him in front of the camera. So this was the first time he actually got to stand behind, direct, see it from an outside perspective, and give his input.
Yeah,
So that was pretty cool.
That's a wild side to be on, because when you're in the moment, I think when I'm questioning you earlier about how did you keep it together, I think I do relate to that zone. Someone can say a crazy line, you kind of it kind of just bypasses and you're just in the moment. Me, that was that first time to see this super comedic. It's one of my favorite scenes because I think the comedic content is crazy, let alone the chemistry you guys had and the acting you guys brought to the table. I think the lines that were going back and forth, and the whole scenario of it and the bigger picture of it,
Yeah.
like them in a parking lot with people still walking around, some girl smoking a cigarette, and the dialogue between you two.
I
was
think the dialogue,
ridiculous.
Yeah,
the dialogue was
that
what made
really
that
good.
so funny.
It's
Turning her into
ridiculous.
meatloaf, you know?
Yeah, it's like we'll see in the outtakes. Like so many, I didn't ruin the takes, but I just couldn't keep it
Yeah.
together. So that's probably it's definitely my favorite scene, just because of the chemistry they had for working together for the first time, and the dialogue between the two. And it just sucks because I hate taking the credit for like the writing of it, but I think the dialogue between them two is just insane.
And Glenn really made that role his own.
It's
Like,
insane.
It was
Yeah, he was
perfect
good.
for him.
It
Crazy.
was really good.
What's yours, Mitch?
I'm gonna have to go with the scene in the warehouse where I come in and you have the bag over your head, and CJ has the mask on, the horse mask, and Jake had the bank robber mask, and I just end up capping them both. And you just get covered in blood and throw up everywhere. And then this kid wrote in that I had to come in and kiss you, and I took it on the chin.
But yeah, I remember while we were just kind of texting back and forth, just kind of going over the script and what we had to do for that shoot. For some reason, I just thought it would be so funny for you to just run up to him and kiss him, because you think his character is gonna be dead, and you're just so relieved. And you guys want to be actors, so actors they kind of have to do something that they might not always want to.
Yeah.
So I just thought it would be hilarious. At first, I thought it was a joke. I didn't think you guys
I
would
thought
actually.
it was a joke too, and then
would
Brandon-
actually go
Don't
with
Brandon's
mention
like,
it with me, because I'm.
Brandon's
all
like,
on
we're
board.
doing it, and I'm like,
100%.
let's do it.
Yeah.
It worked out good though. I
Ended
think
up being funny. I got a lot of laughs.
Yeah, I think it makes that particular interaction between you two. You're just so relieved to see him. He's your best friend, your partner.
Well, you know how it is when you're with your boy. You got a
Yeah.
few drinks, you get a little
Brotherly
extra
love.
lovey-dovey. So this guy was pumped to see me. He just saved my life.
I just think it's so funny how relaxed
Technically.
you were in that scene. Like obviously you come in with some heat, but you're in the car just finishing your flask and you're blasting music, and then you come in and you just kiss them, and it's like you don't even realize you just killed two
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
That doesn't.
You're worried about what I ate.
Yeah.
Way
That's
too
one of
cocked.
them.
Yeah. You're asking him if he ate ramen, and you just ended two people's lives.
I
You're not
know.
even worried about the repercussions of that, but that was such a good
Blasted
scene.
him.
So back to what you were saying about bringing up an idea and you kind of being surprised by us agreeing to it, was I am all about that. You know that, because even in that park scene with Ethan, there was a scene where we mess up, where Mitch messed up, and we talk about how Ethan should spit in Mitch's face, and then the scene, we all get quiet on set, and Chris notices me thinking about it, and he goes, "Don't get Brandon going." And he goes, I was like, "Yeah, I was already thinking that we should
You're
do
ready
it."
to add it in.
Yeah, ready to add it in.
Rewrite the
Mitch would
script.
hate.
Yeah, but everybody notices that it's not him getting
That's
spit
what
in
it
his
is.
face. It's getting spit in my face.
Yeah, like you with the dinghy, like, yo, you should get woken up by Dan and fall into the water.
Yeah.
You're like, no, I'm not going in the water. I was like, all right, you sure?
It's always funny to put someone else in a predicament
For
that
sure.
you
Yeah,
don't want
of
to be in.
course,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
I got blistering sun poisoning out there, and it's like, yeah, just fall in the water, go for a swim. My feet were soaked from pushing the dinghy in. You have your shoes off, everything. I gotta hop in and go out there, so I did that whole scene with you.
You were
My feet
disgusting.
were soaked. I had to pull my jeans up. My jeans were all wet.
Yeah, you're a mess.
But
What was
I mean,
your-
it was worth
Hey,
it.
that was your
Yeah.
character though. Your character was a mess. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it set the tone for him too, because we filmed that on the first day, so he had the sunburned look throughout the whole
Oh,
shoot.
so
But it helps because your character's a drunk, so
He
when
looked
you
like a
get
bottle of
drunk, you get all
Tabasco.
red. Yeah, your face gets all red. So I think it helps sell the idea of your character.
Yeah,
for sure.
man.
Hey,
Yeah, whatever.
you still got it. What was your favorite scene?
Yeah, so my favorite scene I think was when we filmed at Mitch's house. It's not really an interrogation scene, but it's kind of the scene where you're on the job, you're talking about a case that you're trying to help someone, and it's kind of like drunk mother who she thinks her daughter is kind of just either sleeping around or something, so she kind of hires you guys. And the funny thing is, it was actually Mitch's girlfriend's mom and sister who played both
yeah.
those roles. So to kind of put Mitch in that position where he has to work with them was, I think, really funny. And they weren't actors. The mom, she's never acted a day in
Christy
her
did
life.
really good, yeah.
Yeah, they both killed it. And that was so funny. You having to eye her down, give her those eyes and
I
stuff.
know.
That was.
I know, as I'm doing it too, I'm eyeing down Jazz's sister right now.
And I think that was one of the best scenes in the film too. It's one of the
Yeah.
funniest. It's quick, but
Oh my god, it's so in the family too. It's
I know.
hilarious.
It's so funny.
The lines too. I think some of the lines that we
We'll
had
find
for
out
that
she's a
were
bot.
yeah, that's
That's a good
funny.
one.
Yeah, yeah.
You
And we have
got-
all the outtakes of me doing it 100 times.
Oh, there's some good ones.
Oh God.
The director's cut.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll show a few.
You got a good one? Favorite one?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like the warehouse was one of my favorites because of all the practical effects we've done. We've never done that before, and just like the scale of the location. But if I had to pick another one, I think when we filmed at the marina and that whole first day, like out on the dinghy and everything. Like first of all, it was a beautiful location. It's always fun getting back on the set with the boys and
Yeah.
like
Yeah, definitely.
just the vibe of like everyone's excited to get going, and then we got Danny involved. Danny's always hilarious to work
Yeah.
with. Like we've worked with him on 3 films before, so
Oh my god, yeah, I love Danny.
he's always great to work with. We know he's gonna bring it, and
He was in
like,
Case Closed season 1.
but yeah, he's always a blast to work with. We know he's gonna bring the heat, and
Always.
like that was just a really fun way to set it off because that scene too is kind of ridiculous and talking about like the fisting party and all that stuff.
Hey, Sal!
Hey, Sal. But yeah, that scene was fun. That whole day was fun. Even with dragging the dinghy out and trying to haul it over that fence, and that taking more time than we ever thought it was going to.
Yeah.
But I mean, those challenges are what you remember at the end of the day. So
They make it worth it.
yeah,
Yeah.
For sure.
totally.
I mean, just having like that long week and like the last like day and a half being like grueling.
Yeah,
Like just like the end of that second to last day and then not sleeping, going to the beach and finishing filming. It was just like so much better. Like having that the last part of the filming be the toughest. When it was done, it was just so satisfying.
The
Like
whole
I
stretch.
remember we're all like
Yeah.
dapping each other
Yeah,
up
we-
and hugging. We're like, let's go.
It just felt so accomplished to have pulled that off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where, like, I agree with like you saying that the most grueling day was the last day, but so you had that feeling of like, let's put it all in,
Yeah.
no matter how tired we are, because like those last shoot days that are like one quick shot of like someone like opening a door, like we need that one last take. It's like
Yeah.
okay, all right, that's a wrap. Like I just
Yeah.
opened the door for this 30-second shot.
that much more like gratifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It was kind of like capped out by hard days. Like the first day was pretty tough too, and then the last day was obviously.
And the first day was hot.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was a
When
hot
we were
day.
out there, it was hot.
Yeah.
I just love the way that footage looks, man. Like the marina is obviously a
Oh,
great
it's
location. The sun, like
Backdrop
the
of
sky
water.
was just nice and blue. Like everything just looks.
We lucked out
looks
with
great.
natural light and
Yeah.
stuff a lot.
We lucked out with a lot of
Perfect
these
weather
locations.
though.
Yeah.
It was a great week.
Yeah, it was a great.
It's
Yeah, we did
beautiful.
luck out with the weather too.
Yeah.
Edric.
Edric was hilarious to work with too.
Oh my god, man.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
Edric
he
with
was
his
funny.
face tattoos and
Edric and
everything.
Ethan, man, those kids, they have a little future in this.
Yeah.
And it was so cool because like they were so excited to be there.
Yeah.
And that was
Like,
Edric's first experience
yeah.
with acting too, and he loved it, and he killed it.
Yeah,
he,
he
he
was
did
great.
so well.
Yeah, he did. I love his little interview when you interview him about how he got it ready for his role.
Yeah, that
See,
was
oh, no, I was
great.
just thinking about my character.
He was
all
like-
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
That was
loved
nice.
it.
I think
He-
we
he was
inspired
ready to
him
go
to
back.
keep going. I think he
Yeah.
wants to keep acting.
He was ready to go back and brag to all his friends.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Ethan has been in probably 5 productions now. He's a theater actor, and
He's good.
He's
When
good.
I asked him to be a part of it, he was super excited. He'd never done it before, and he was great. He's a great young actor, and I don't doubt that kid's gonna be on Broadway one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's good. He needs to stick with it.
That was one of the first times we worked with like younger kids like that, and they brought it. They both we
I was
lucked
impressed.
out.
Just an array of actors of all different ages. Like, it was just cool.
Yeah, it's a really well-rounded cast. I think this was one of like the best. Everything like locations, cast, like everything just came together so
Yeah.
perfectly.
Yeah, we definitely lucked out with locations, our actors. You know, like I said, we didn't have to pay for any of that. We didn't have to hire any actors. Luckily, you know, we knew some people. We asked them, and they were willing to help out.
Yeah. It all worked out, man. We have a great product right here. It's nice. I
Yeah.
think people are gonna really enjoy it.
Yeah, I hope they do. And
Definitely.
I mean, we did end it on a cliffhanger. So what do you guys think going forward?
I mean, if they haven't seen the film and you go watch the film, make sure you watch through the credits because you're gonna see a little scene that we put in that kind of
Marvel-esque.
leaves that little Marvel-esque scene that kind of leads into maybe a part 3.
Yeah. I think the way we ended it too, there's a lot of different avenues that we could take this.
For sure.
For sure.
So I think it counts. It matters as how many people watch this and comment on it.
Feedback.
The
Yeah.
feedback is gonna really contribute to if we continue. But I think after they watch it, they're gonna want a little more, because I think
Yeah.
the people that we've shown it to are asking or
Oh, for sure.
mentioning that there should be a part 3.
Yeah.
That was a big question. The premiere night, a lot of people were like, "Do you have a part 3 in mind?" Or it's not technically a part 3 because it was a first season and a short film, but like moving forward with these characters.
Yeah.
what
Like
we're gonna do.
everybody enjoys the characters, everybody enjoys the story.
We might have a spin-off for Glenn. You know,
Yeah.
Right? I
we'll
know.
see.
Yeah, no, we had some great feedback. So, yeah, anybody that watches it, let us know. We're gonna go off your feedback. Do you want us to make more? Do you think we should make this a feature? Where should we take this? Like, I mean, like we were saying this whole time, the chemistry between you two is great. So it'd kind of be a shame not to. So,
Yeah.
if anybody has anything to say, like any comments, leave them below. Leave us the likes. Help us out. Buy the movie. Tell your friends. Share it. Whatever you can do. Everything helps.
Yeah, you'll be blown away for sure.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.